Alright, so I'm just making this video showing you how to use the app Tempo by a company called Frozen Ape. So this is the screen that comes up when you open the app. Right now I am currently in basic mode, as you can see it on the top left of the screen. It also has a preset mode where you can access the meters and the different subdivisions, the most common meters, most common subdivisions. It also has a set list mode where you can save and keep track of like different songs and tempos. The ones that I have set up right now for our rock trio. I also have some stuff from when I was doing my jazz combo and when I was getting ready to record my metal band's EP, which is currently almost done. Then we also have the practice, where it just shows everything else but the options to change it. And then finally your gig. So it's very simple. You just select whatever song you're on, and it's ready to go. All right, so let's get started with the basics. Here you have your tempo. You can adjust it with the plus and minus one at a time, or you can just scroll left and right. Currently I'm using the iOS version. This is also available for Android. And down here it has the Latin term for the tempo. Or I'm sorry, the Italian, my bad. So it's like decrease, so andante, adagietto, adagio, lento, grave, like grave, slow. And then of course back up. Allegretto, allegro, vivace, vivacissimo, allegissimo. Just means very fast. Very, very fast. So I'm going to keep it at about 100 for right now, just for demonstration purposes. Now, set that to 4/4. You select the time signature on the bottom left, and then you have like different 2 signatures, like I guess 13/2 to 1/2 and things like that. Anything in 2 is usually like a waltz. Not a waltz, like a march. Like 1 2 1 2, something like that. 4/4, 2/4, 3/4. These are all your common time signatures. 4/4 is the most common, so select that. And you can see here it's got the accent and then the regular beats, which is going to sound like this. Okay. And then you can also tap tempo here. Faster you tap, faster the tempo is. Down here, you have your different subdivisions. So right now it's on quarter note. You can select eighth notes. And then you can select eighth note triplets. You can select the first and third partial of a triplet, which sounds like a shuffle. And then you have your 16th notes. And then the first and last partial of a 16th note. All right, so then on the middle, it's got what's called an automator. What that does is you can have tempo changes if you're running through something like singles, doubles, or any kind of exercise where you're trying to see what your max tempo is, or if you're just trying to like work on your endurance. So I'm going to select by bars, which basically means that I'm going to increase the tempo. Right now it's set to 1. I'm going to increase the tempo to like maybe every 2 BPM, and usually I like to do things every 8 bars because it's pretty even. Coach mode is going to mute a certain number of bars after every 1 unmuted bar. So that means like it'll play 1 and then it'll mute the next one. So let's see, mute 1 bar after every 1 bar. Let's see what this sounds like. So you got one bar that is playing, and then the following bar is going to be muted. And it tells you right there, the M that shows up. And now you see the tempo just increased. So that's how the automator works. You can also set it to increase by time. So you can increase the BPM every 30 seconds, or you can select every certain amount of minutes, things like that. Again, the same thing, coaching mode. It's basically like a internal gap click. A lot of people will usually like 2 bars unmuted, 2 bars muted. Or you can, when you also have it selected under off, you can only use coach mode. So that's your like kind of like your built-in gap click. So you don't have to like download the gap click by Benny Greb if you don't want it, because they don't have it for Android, but Tempo has this built into it. The other thing is the tracker. So say you're working on an exercise, you want to see how many measures you're, let's just say, practicing a fill. It's got a bar counter. And say you want to practice that fill for, I don't know, 50 times, right? 50 bars. So it'll play the time for 50 bars. And then you can also set it to stop when it reaches the amount, also reset when it's reached, and then start from 1. The other option up here is where you can actually have a count in of 1 bar, so it'll count you in and then it'll start.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Like that. And or you can have it 2 bars. Sorry.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
And then it starts. So let's turn it off. You also have a timer too. So it'll stop. So it's got a built-in timer. So let's just say you're working on, I don't know, the single stroke roll, and you're going to do it for 5 minutes because you want to work on it for 5 minutes today because maybe that's the only thing that you've got. You can set it to countdown, and that's going to count you down from 5 minutes. Count in for 1 bar, and then it's going to go. That way it gives you time. Usually I do 2 bars just to make sure that I'm ready to go.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1,
And then it's
2,
going to go.
3, 4.
Now we're off. Oh, I still have the automator on. So make sure you turn that off. You just mute 0 bars after every, just to make sure it's turned off. All right, so let's see. And then the reset button is going to reset the time. And now, let's just say you want to get into like creating a set list, okay? So I'm going to start fresh. Let's hit the arrow at the top right here. That's going to show all the songs in your set list at once. And then you can go to set list. So you can see here, I've got set list from when I'm playing at church. And it's pretty much every weekend. Everything's been saved since I think the last time I backed up everything. So almost 400 set lists in here. And you can pull up, I even have a set list for Will Coxon when I'm working on that out of that book. I even have a live set in here. So let's start new. Let me start over. Hit the double arrows right here. And then go to set lists. And then hit the plus button. So I'm going to name this test set list. Okay. And even if you misspell it, you still get the autocorrect. Then you hit the arrows again. Okay. Now say you have a song named, Congo Square or something like that. And it's maybe 150 BPM because it's a fast jazz or something, whatever. Maybe a Latin tune. So you hit 150. Let's make sure the tracker's off. We don't need that right now. All right. So it's set to 150, and let's say it's 5/4 because it's an odd time. Okay, so we're going to save that. You hit the plus sign on this, and then you say Congo Square. Just type it in. And then it's under new, so you add song to any set list. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me go back. Congo Square. Just press done. That's it. Let me do that again. hit the plus sign, okay? Type it in, Congo square, and then hit done right there. Or, you know, if you're on Android, it's going to look a little bit differently. And then say you already have a song in here that you want to pull up because maybe you've got a live show coming up. You can recall songs that you've already saved. So you might have a master list, which I do. So I'll show you in a second, but let's see. I'm just going to type in, I don't know, something. Anything with sing. Revelation song. I haven't done that in a while. It's a song from church. You select the song as you want, hit add at the top, and then hit done. You can see that it's been added to your set list, so you can select it. I have this set at 125 because the original tempo is 62.5. So there's no setting to go 0.5, so just double the tempo, and it's 62.5 times 2. It counts it off like 8 notes. Like that. Then you have at the top here is where you have your settings. So you have the tuning bar. You can tune to, you know, an instrument if you want to tune it. So if you tune a guitar, you go to E, A, D, I don't remember the rest of that. I think it's G, B, E, something like that. Anyway, so it's got a tuner. Here you can adjust the volume just by sliding it over like that. And then this is where your settings are at the top. So you've got interface mode, which is basically gives you those options that I showed you at the very first, where it has the basic, the preset, the practice, and the gig. All right. And then you've got your first beat default, which is always going to be an accent whenever you create a new one. Auto stop, always active. You can select that. It'll just automatically stop. Screen always on. It's going to stay on. It's not going to go to black and white, or it won't fade out when it's on. Power saving mode, you'll have a brief delay, like it'll turn off or it might dim and it'll affect the playback of the BPM. BPM value, how do you want it set it? Half note, quarter note, dotted quarter note, don't mess with that. It can go up to 800 BPM. I don't know why you would need that. Sound sets, you've got different sets that you can set it to. So like say I want to go to shaker. I go back to the metronome. It sounds like a shaker. Or maybe I want the sound set to be a little bit different. Let's say I want a tambourine. Of course the accent's going to play a different note or sound. Okay, but I'm going to put it back to digital. I just like it like that. That's what I'm used to. All right, and then panning, which means the audio left or right. LEDs is basically, do you want it to flash? A pendulum is like going left and right, so you have the pendulum going left and right. The LEDs are the little flashing dots. Okay. Full screen flash, that's going to be like a, let's see, like that. On the downbeat of every one. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the screen's going to flash there. And then flash every beat. It'll flash on every single one of them. Or is it not doing it? Let's try this. There we go. Okay. Same thing with this pendulum. Settings for that. Set list settings. I always leave those on. You never know. Vibration, you can have it to vibrate when it's on. And it'll just shake the phone. Let me see. Not sure if you can hear that, but it's vibrating in my hand. I don't usually use that. External input device, I've never used that. I think you have to use like a Bluetooth air turn page kind of thing. And then it's got a setting for the iRig Blue Board. Proximity sensor action, I think that's for something else. Remote control, that's going to be Bluetooth. Then you have themes, which is on the bottom. Right now I have mine in dark. They also have classic blue, which is going to look like this. So you can you can also customize it. This is my theme right here. I like the blue and the black with a little bit of gray and white. It's just classy. This is one I made for like when it's daytime and I still need to be able to see it. And then there is a basic tutorial section here at the bottom. And then you can just swipe left and right and it kind of walks you through basically what I just did. So you might not need that now. Let's just say you saved a song and it's the wrong tempo. Just press the song and it'll come up and say like, oh, it's 130, not 125. And maybe it's Revelations song. So you just go to the word, add the S, and then hit done. And it saves it. And then you'll have it set for next time. So, like I said before, a little bit earlier, I do have a master list. My set list. This is like right when I first got when I got the app, I started saving a lot of songs in the same thing. So this is like a bit of small. So I've got like 79 songs. And this was my old master list. I have a new one that I saved to my Google Drive. You can export these too. Let me show you that. So say you want to export a set list. What you're going to do is go back to the set lists here. So let me go back to the one that we set up. The test set lists right here. Let me start from here. Let me go back to dark mode so it'll be a little bit easier to see. Let's go. Okay, so if you click on the arrows again, like we were doing to set up the original name, press it once. On the top here, you're going to see an arrow with a square in it. That means it's like the share button. And then you can have it as a text file or a tempo setlist file. So if you've got another app or you want to share your setlist settings or song settings or whatever with somebody else, you hit tempo setlist file. I don't have mail on this phone configured correctly. So, but it'll originally ask you, it'll go through the mail app and then you can like send it to somebody that you want to, share it with. As a text file, again, it's not set up. I don't like Apple's mail program. I was having issues with it. But anyway, yes, you can share set lists. You can share settings, which is cool. But that's it. I mean, this is really the basic features that you can get a lot out of this. If you have any other questions, let me know. Thanks.